episode that he puts out. He has been upping his episodes. Perhaps that's one reason why we couldn't connect, but it's all good now. We are back again. Karthik, namaskaram, and welcome to PGurus channel.
Namaskaram, and so glad to be back here and on a very important issue that needs attention of the learned audience that you have and that you've built up over a period of time. And before we start and you give an intro about the topic, I do want to say that I did miss the live hangouts because it's always fun and you do give new dimensions in my entire thought process. So the cognitive process does get better. And I am your follower too. I watch most of your videos, if not all. And thanks for the support.
Thank you so much, Karthik. Coming from you, it's truly an honor. Karthik, I have not seen the movie Jai Bhim. I have only seen some teasers, but I did follow every episode where you have clinically dissected what is essentially not a true story. See, this is where the problem is. When you start claiming that a movie is a true story, and then you start taking liberties where the liberties are definitely crossing the boundaries of cinematic expression or whatever it is that they usually couch these things in. It is much beyond that in this particular case. You have been very, very clinical and very objective in showing where these people have taken liberties. They are painted outside the box. It's definitely not something that is a true story. Karthik, maybe you can walk us through for the viewers what happened, because there have been a lot of follow-on things that have happened, but you certainly have been the face of the constructive criticism of this movie. By the way, Mr. Surya Sivakumar, if you are watching, we know what you are up to, and we are going to really take the hammer to you in terms of what we think of your creativity. So stay tuned. You will learn more from this than from all your psycho fans. Karthik, take it away.
Thank you so much, Shriji. See, it all starts from this movie called Jai Bhim. I should also tell you, a lot of you will be surprised to note that I was a fan of Surya. I liked his movie. I liked his commitment to acting, the way he grew. Because if you watch his first movies, you will understand that acting was something totally alien to him. But then he learned the art and was able to do a good job. So he did nurture a good bit of fan following there. And coming to this movie, Jai Bhim, I wanted to make it clear because this is not based on any, personal vengeance that I have towards Surya. His field is completely different, and mine is also completely different. But if you do an objective analysis of the way he utilizes movies to subtly push in his political agenda, one will be clear that this is done with some kind of a backing or some kind of a political agenda in mind. So same is the case with the movie Jai Bhim. So if you look at the name Jai Bhim, it is so powerful. So all of us love Dr. Ambedkar. We want to celebrate him by having his photos at home, be it the Constitution Day or be it the great papers that he had published in his times, which was one of the best works that could probably be cited those days. So we are proud of him. He's a national symbol. So Jai Bhim, the name, it evokes so much of emotions. But what has been done in this particular movie is, under the guise of this particular name Jai Bhim, which represents social justice movement in the entire country, is considered to be the symbol of social justice. It has completely taken a complete different turn. It projects issues in such a way that the real wrongdoer is saved. The real identity of the wrongdoer is saved. And instead, a false identity is put forth, and a big politics is being done by this entire crew. This Jai Bhim movie this title has nothing particular story. In fact, Surya admits that he had taken this particular Jai Bhim title from Mr. Paranjit, who had already had rights for this particular title. In fact, the movie was having a different name until they got the rights of this movie Jai Bhim. So they got the title because it sounds good and it matches with their rhetoric and it matches with the image that Surya and his company want to build with this particular movie. Even that is okay. But then when you watch the movie, I urge all the viewers to go watch the movie. What has been done here is it is using the concept of social justice and portraying a particular caste in bad light. The entire story revolves around a case called Rajakannu versus State of Tamil Nadu. This happened in Tamil Nadu. So this was during the Jayalalitha period, which is one thing you should note. So these people, the entire DMK bandwagon and the mainstream media are supporting him because they want to show the ADMK government in bad light. But there are a number of other incidents like Vachati case, one Vinmani case, and also the Manjole incident, which occurred during the DMK period. None of the directors will dare to touch it. Okay. In this particular case, this Rajakanna versus State of Tamil Nadu is used. For the viewers who have not watched this movie, let me tell you the case details very briefly. Rajakanna was a person who was arrested by falsely implicated into a case, beaten so much so that they wanted him to agree on a crime which he did not do, and then he dies in police custody. The particular criminal who did that goes by the name Anthony Sami, which is a Christian name. Okay, and the name of Rajakanna's wife is Parvati Amma. I call her Amma because she's still alive and living a very miserable life. So, what they did here was the aggressor and the victim. Victim is Rajakanna, and the aggressor is this particular person named Anthony Sami. So, what they do here is there is an advocate who retired as a Madras High Court judge by the name Chandru. If you watch the entire movie, they portrayed Surya portrayed the role of Chandru and made it look like it was Chandru who got the justice, which is okay. You have your own agenda, you have your own things, you can promote anybody that you want. But this particular person, Chandru, is the only person who got her the justice. That is the entire thing they want to spin. And who benefits out of it? Chandru's image gets boosted and Surya's image gets boosted because he's defending the weak. He's defending the unprotected. He's defending the voiceless. This is the message that the entire crew wants to put across to people. All good, okay? It all sounds rosy until now. But when you check the real case, what really happens is they have changed the name of people deliberately in order to show some people in bad light. That was the first issue. There are a number of issues. I'll enumerate a number of issues. The first issue was the aggressor, who goes by the name Anthony Sami, was changed. The name of the person, the identity of the person was changed to Guru Murthy. So if you follow Tamil Nadu politics, you know that Guru Murthy is a name of a very famous person who represents the 1 year interest. And this particular person, Guru Murthy, who's the bad guy who does rotten things, has Agni Kalasam symbol. What is Agni Kalasam? It represents the beliefs of 1 year. It is a symbol of 1 year. Now, for the international and national audience who have no clue who 1 years are, they are Kshatriyas. They are Kshatriyas. Okay. And the original person who did this wrongdoing is not a Kshatriya. So, to put things in perspective, if you want to show that, what is that called? Twin Tower attacks was done by a person called Joseph, will you agree? And you claim that it is based on true story. In this particular case, the very same thing has been done. They have hidden the identity of Anthony Sami and made him Guru Murthy. So this Guru Murthy also is a 1 year leader. He was called as Mahaviran. He was a Kshatriya leader. Okay. So why the entire bandwagon of 1 years and the PMK, which represents 1 year interest, that is the Kshatriya interest, why are they against it? The main reason is the wrongdoer is shown as a 1 year community, a Kshatriya community, which is not the case. He was a Christian. They did not have the guts to put the real name here. That is the first question we ask. So they say that it is cinematic freedom. It is based on true story. It is not a biopic, and so on and so forth. If it is based on true story, and you go to CM Stalin and you donate 1 crore rupees not from the profits of this movie, but from the trust that you run to another community named Irula. So the victims belong to another community called as Kuravas. See, these people belong to the scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. Okay. So Surya takes this 1 crore check, gives it to Stalin. Stalin says that CM Stalin says that this is a wonderful movie. I was reminded of my emergency time arrest and so on and so forth. And there's a lot of camaraderie between the communists, the VCK Thirumavalavan, and this particular person, the entire film fraternity. So they all want to back Surya. But the question is, if you stand for social justice, the particular lady who is 68 years now, in the movie they show her as a young woman who is carrying, but that's not the case. When the incident occurred, she was 45. They wanted to make it cinematic, they wanted to make it dramatic so that the villain looks more bad, right? But whom do you portray as the villain? You portray him as a Kshatriya or a 1 year. That is the biggest mistake. They change it. Okay, so when there was enough pressure put on it, they change it. They changed the 1 year symbol, which was hanging in a calendar. near the Gurumurti, who's actually not Gurumurti, who's Antoni Sami, and make it into a Lakshmi calendar, which is a Hindu symbol. So again, we question you, what is stopping you from revealing the true identity of such a criminal? Such a criminal, you want to show his different identity. That is the problem here. So you see, Surya goes and gifts CM Stalin. CM Stalin supports the movie. Everybody else supports the movie. But I asked this question on November 9th. This relief was given to this particular lady, Parvati. By real name is Parvati, the victim's wife, who has been living in penury. Okay, in the entire movie, they show that after Mr. Chandru had fought for her, and then she goes into a new home with her family and lives happily ever after. That is not the case. The real case is she lives in penury with her daughter. She has two sons, two surviving sons who are, differently abled. They are mentally challenged, is what she says in the video. So she has so many problems. But this is the icing on the cake. I want the audience to tell me if I'm wrong here. The entire film crew who says they are champions of social justice, they work for the downtrodden, they want to empower the powerless, they want to be the speech of the voiceless, all this, they have never once met Parvati Amma. Never once met Parvati Amma. Now, what they are up to is they say that, listen, we are giving 15 lakhs to Parvati Amma. The entire media is hailing them. Entire media is hailing them. The revenue for this movie, the lowest revenue that I've heard thus far is 45 crores. Okay. If you have made a story, now people will come, see, it's not a biopic. We are not bound by it. You are bound by it morally. The entire story revolves around Rajakanna and his wife. Entire story revolves around the same. So these people have not even been consulted. So my only question is, should you have not consulted the family, asked their permission? Can you do that with Captain Gopinath? He will not agree. So you went, took permission. When you make biopics, you take permission. When you make the story of a person's life into a movie, make millions of it, aren't you bound to pay the royalty? That is the question here. Okay, but they have not done it. So when I raised this issue on 9th November, what happened is Surya sends a team to consult the family. And then this interview of that Parvati Amma gets published that Surya did nothing for me. He consulted me. He didn't even consult me. They didn't even come and take care of me. And you should look at that house, Shri, you should look at that hamlet in which she lives. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. No justice has been actually done to her. Okay, that is why I was telling you should share royalty with her. And there is legal precedence to that. If I don't know if you've watched this movie Fulan Devi. So this movie Fulan Devi, there was a legal battle where the director was forced to share, I think, 20 or 30% of the revenue to that particular person. So that particular person got benefit in 1995. This was an established judgment. You take somebody's life, make a movie out of it, make millions out of it, and you claim to be the champion of social justice. You have the entire cinema paraphernalia backing you up, but you have not done justice to the lady Parvati. Now, coming to the political aspect of it, there's a lot of discussion that needs to be done. Coming to the political aspect of it, PMK, which, as I told you, represents the 1 year interest, which is the Kshatriya interest in Tamil Nadu. These people have filed a defamation suit against Surya and company for portraying 1 year in wrong light of the tune of 5 crores. And the best part is, they have said that whatever money comes out of this, we will give it to Parvati Amma. You have given 15 lakhs. Okay, initially they say, I will give 10 lakhs, we'll put in fixed deposit, it will come to them. And after her death, her children will have it. Who are you to say that? They are called legal heirs. And anyways, it is going to go to your legal heirs. So there is nothing new you are going to do out of it. But the point is, now there are two things. These people, Surya and company, have given 15 lakhs to Parvati after all this has been done. Note it, Shri. We did all this. In fact, I took it up first when Raghava Lawrence had gone and visited. He is another actor who visited this person, the surviving wife of Rajakanna, the main person who suffered this entire thing. He went and visited, gave 1 lakh and said, I'll build you the house. Then I took up the issue and I told, the entire team has not visited her. They have just taken her, penury, they have her misery and made a story out of it. Now, other aspects of the story. Now the problem is, since PMK has taken it up, PMK is in opposition with DMK. Their alliance is, they are part of the NDA alliance. BJP has not been vociferous. At least BJP leaders have not been vociferous about it. We'll come to it later. So since it's PMK that has taken this issue up, the entire media wants to say that it is a political battle. Bharati Raja comes out and says, don't make it political. Whereas the movie itself was made with a political intent is the accusations. You've not taken care of justice for Parvati, leave alone social justice, the broader concept. Take care of justice of the person. You've not done that. So since it's PMK taking it up, now everybody is ganging up to say it's Anbumani Ramadas is casteist, Ramadas ji is casteist. This is the kind of accusations they want to keep. And the problem with the youth of our state is brilliant youth. They love movies. They are emotional. So they don't even try to understand what is the crux of the issue and why an issue is made out of it. See, if you are reporting true incidents and a particular Kshatriya or belonging to any caste or any religion has made a mistake, you can do it. You can publish it. That is what has to be done. But in this particular case, you mask the identity. How it is being done, I'll tell you. So this particular incident happens elsewhere, but it is being portrayed as if it happens in Dharmapuri, which is 1 year, that is Kshatriya stronghold, and Pamaka has a PMK has a good taste there. That has been done. Also, there have been a number of people. I think one of the comments is coming up. Yes, I am coming to Mr. Govind. So what happens is, see, since they have no clue how to approach the entire issue. When this happened in 1994, the particular lady had nobody to back her. There was a communist leader by the name Govindan, okay, who belongs to this Kshatriya 1 year caste. Okay, so these people, what they did is they supported her for a long time. That person Govindan did not get married. He stayed single only because he felt that having a family would be a liability in this particular case. Look at the kind of heart that person had. Yeah. So see, across political lines, anybody does something, Ilaya Bharatam, we try to recognize that. Apart from this, that particular person, Parvati's son-in-law, who takes care of her right now, he clearly says that the 1 year people, the Kshatriya people who were around at that place, had helped him a great deal during this ordeal. And none of that was portrayed in this movie. In this movie, Chandru was portrayed as the greatest. Again, there is a mistake there. I'll tell you what the mistake is. There was this person called as P.S. Mishra. It is P.S. Mishra. He was the Madras High Court judge who took care of this case. That particular person was so active. He made a police commissioner stand in the courtroom the entire till the entire proceedings only because he had occupied a table which was not reserved for him. So he was the person who was very active and gave a very strong, stinging judgment in this particular case. In fact, he was behind this particular judgment where earlier it was the state government was not liable for the actions of its officials. But he made the point that you are liable for the action by your officials. So those people were not portrayed. The community that helped him was not portrayed. Mr. Govindan was not portrayed. And here, let us come to this person, Mr. Chandru. If you actually notice his tweets, if you actually notice his speeches, if you notice his actions, I personally feel that he is more of a DMK member. Okay, the kind of praise that he bestows upon Karnanadi and company, you can do it. You're retired anyways, you can do it. But see, I will tell you the design behind the entire thing. He says in an interview, see, this is a movie about social justice. This is what Chandru says, Mr. Chandru, that this is a movie about social justice. We did not publish the real name of Antony Das because it will be a legal problem. He says again, we did not publish the name of Parvati, who is the real victim. She suffered all along. You should look at her, Shri. You should look at the video. I'll probably share a link and you should probably...
I have seen the thing. It's heart-rending.
It's heart-wrenching. Okay. And her leg is very badly damaged. But the one thing I love about her the most is the courage. She's still she's a very courageous woman. So salutes to her for that. So he says, this Chandru says, that we could not put the real name of Antony Sami because he went to jail and got back. We published the real name of Raja Kannan, who was the victim, because he's dead. Antony Sami is also dead. Also, he says, we didn't want to publish the name of this particular Parvati madam in the real name because it will lead to legal entanglements. What are you talking? You think people won't understand? All he wants to say is, if he publishes the real name, first of all, you have to take the consent. They have not even gone and visited. Second, you have to share royalty because it is her life that you have made a movie. It is her life based on which you're making in millions. Don't tell me that you've done only for social justice. Then give all the proceeds to the downtrodden. You've made a business out of someone's life and you've never consulted. So he says it very, in a polished way. We don't want to get entangled in legal issues. And that is why, see, you are a judge. What is law? Law is meant to uphold dharma. In this particular case, you should have recommended the team to go visit her, take her consent, do the needful to her, share royalty, and then publish the story. None of them have done this. Also, somebody is saying H. Raja had spoken about it. In fact, H. Raja spoke about it. He gave me a call and said, "What you're doing in this particular issue is wonderful." I said, "Thank you so much for all you're doing for Dharma." But my point is, Vignesh, it is not only H. Raja. The entire BJP needs to take this up, is my humble opinion. But they are a party, they have their own wishes. In fact, Mr. Annamalai, who's the state president, see, again, Mr. Annamalai had spoken about this. Okay, but the entire media started. There's a lot of false news spreading that Annamalai ji had supported this particular movie. What he said was the movie making is good. That is what we say. Movie making is excellent. Movie making is very beautiful. DOP is beautiful. Surya was made to look good. The entire incident was heart wrenching, which means that the screenplay was good. Everything was good. But having said all this, he also mentioned, Mr. Annamalai, the BJP state president, also mentioned that making historical movies, you need to be right with facts. Which means you could have done this better, you could have portrayed the real incidents, is what he said. The media never talks about it. See, I am an individual. I run an institution called Ilaya Bharata. I can only do so much. But if you look at the mainstream media, they do not have any moral values whatsoever. And that is why I call them Munkalams. They are deliberately cutting Annamalai's statement. That's what one of the comments says. They're deliberately cutting and editing Annamalai's statement and showing as if he has given his complete support for the movie. When you look at the entire media bandwagon, sir, please look at the entire media bandwagon. Surya writes one letter, every media starts talking about it. Now, police protection is given to Surya. And here, being true to my conscience, I have to point out the mistake done by one of the PMK cadres who said anybody who kicks Surya will be rewarded with that. That is wrong. That is not what we are supporting. But at the same time, the kind of mistakes that are being constantly done, I'll tell you the pattern here. Take the case of Mr. Surya's previous movie. The name of the movie was Surare Potru. It's about, about him, Mr. Gopinath, who was very famous. You know about him. He was
Captain Gopinath, yeah.
Gopinath. So he made a movie about him. Okay. What he did in that, there was a scene that is deliberately being done. Okay. There was a scene where a Brahmin walks into a train and does something which is against, the will of the people, and they kind of shoo him. Okay. On the very same day, I picked up the issue and I said, this was unwanted. How is this anyway related to the script? You want to be true to your masters and say, listen, I've brought in Periyarist ideology. Is Captain Gopinath Iyengar a Periyarist? We are all social reformers in our own right. We all believe in forward-looking society. But just to hail one symbol because it represents a political party is what we are trying to call out. Okay, so he did that. And in this particular movie, there is a continuing trend. Since we brought it up and there are a number of Hindu groups and there are a number of nationalists who spoke about it, you know what he did this time? What he did this time was, he says, there is one character in the movie. There's one character in the movie who was sitting right beside Surya. And he says, Om Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya Marga. Something of that sort he keeps saying. And the statement that Surya makes towards that particular character is, since you have said something to me, I will do the exact opposite because you always say the wrong thing. So the idea is, last movie you tried to portray Brahmins in bad light. And completely not related to the script. But you want to show some Hindu bashing. Hey, you're a Hindu, you believe in God, but we are kind of hep. This is the kind of thing that is being done. When you hurt the sentiments of a majority, and they see, and another point here is a very important point is, people say it's a movie, watch and move on. Watch and move on. I have my concerns. And that is why I'm putting this forward. This is a trend that is seeping into the Tamil industry. This was not there during the MGR times. It was there during the Dravidian peak time. But then when MGR came in, he started respecting all religions. He did a role of Murugan, if you know. He donated a lot for temples. He was a patron in many temples. Lot is known to people, lot is not known to people. So he made it a point that, see, you can be an atheist, but don't target one particular religion. He favored Kripananda Varya. Okay, so all these things, if you carefully notice, this is being orchestrated by these people. So we raised the issue. Now they are giving something of a compensation. I don't know what it is. It is a they say it is a donation for them. Who are you to give donation? You are duty bound to pay the a royalty to that particular person. That has not been done here. And now is the biggest question. You talk about social justice, right? Correct. You mask the identity of people. Now, why don't you give it to the Kuravar community? They were the ones affected by this. Why do you want to go and give it to irregular community? I'm not saying that it should not be given to irregular community. At least 50-50 दे दो भाई. आधा तो उनको दो जो who actually went through the entire hell. You've not done that. So that is also being questioned here. Okay. Now it is for the people to think. Now for the people to think that there is a political party which is definitely targeted. See, the point with PMK is, as I think we've spoken about this some time back, they stand for 1 year Kshatriyas. But they also claim to stand for everybody, because social justice simply means whichever community is affected, they should be given an extra head start and an opportunity to come and be, there must be a plain, there should be no mountains and valleys. That is their idea, as far as I can read. But in this particular case, in the defamation case, they want to give all the 5 crores to Parvati. Who's being, true to social justice here? Is it PMK or is it Mr. Surya? You make millions. You make millions in all these things. And you don't have the heart to go visit her. You tell me, as fans of Mr. Surya, or you tell me as ordinary Tamil citizens, all of us like actors. We are moved by the aura that they create on screen. But how long will we be fooled by this aura? And how long will we be fooled by their political agenda? They say based on true events. I was only recommending them write based on my political agenda. Change that topic. So this is the state of affairs in Tamil Nadu right now with respect to Jai Bhim. You know what? The funny part is all the directors want to support them because they want to, somehow defend them and have this Periyarist ideology control the cine industry. This guy called Santanam. I'm sure you must know.
He's a comedian, right? Yeah.
He was a comedian turned lead role now. He does a lot of his movies. Recently there was a movie which I enjoyed a lot. There was a movie. There's a comedy scene. So this person, so he goes for an audio launch. Okay. And you know about our reporters, as I call them, as RSB media. So these people had put forth this question that, sir, what is your opinion about Jai Bhim? So what has happened is we stand with Surya is trending just because there are people against him, and the media portrays it like this way. See, we stand with Surya because there are people ready to attack him. His security has been beefed up in his place, okay, because 1 lakh was announced. We condemn that. We condemn such things. But you don't have to stand with Surya just because one person said we'll attack him. There are a million others trying to reason out as to why this person has done this. Okay, so you just shun away all the voices using your power of media. You want to do this. What happened with Santanam is he made a statement that you can talk good about anything. You talk great about Hinduism, but don't demean others. Already Santanam was in a controversy when he had interviewed Sadhguru. Just because he had interviewed Sadhguru, he was made to look. So he was branded as Sanghi and said that you don't belong here and all. But in this particular case, he was very careful. He said, talk good about Hinduism, but don't demean Christianity. When the question was about Jai Bhim movie. So simply quoting with that particular context, understanding and inferring from that context, it means that you could have talked great about this particular community. But why show 1 year in bad light? What is the point of showing 1 year in bad light? What is the point of showing Kshatriyas in bad light? Do you want to create a rift between Kshatriyas and the scheduled tribes? Is that your intention? That is the question here. That is the question here. So there are 2-3 hashtags trending. One is we stand with Surya. Of course, it is the power of the mainstream media and their chamchas here. There's another hashtag trending. We stand with Santanam. There's another hashtag trending. Surya against 1 year. Okay. So all these things, if you put it into perspective, you look at the way the entire story has been changed. by proclaiming that it was like it's based on true events. It's not all. It is based on a true story and modified for their political agenda. Simple. It was modified. They say now they come and say, see that was a mistake. That Agni Kalasam was a mistake. We didn't want to offend 1 year. We have removed it. And what have you replaced it with? Why don't you have the guts to call a spade a spade? And they say it is a mistake of the art director. See how crooked and spineless these people are. See, if it was, you take credit for all the success. Surya comes and tweets, Makkalukku nandri, ellarukkum nandri, he goes to the CM, gives the check. Take credit for all the positives. And when there is a problem, you want to scapegoat somebody else. The director is the captain of the ship. Now, what I get to understand is, Mr. Surya may not have complete involvement in this. I'm just guessing. It is the director, Jnanavel, who is a renowned Periyarist. His idea is Periyarist. You can be a Periyarist, or you can be a cyclist, or you can be a whateverist you want. We care a damn about that. But to show somebody in bad light, you must have a heart which is really black. If you want to put somebody else in bad light and then go for your cause for social justice, it will never happen. Because in real incident, it was done by somebody else. Anthony Sami came out, died. You are not having the strength to do it. And why is the entire team not having the strength to do it? If you put Anthony Sami, do you think you will have the backing of the missionaries? Do you think you will have the future funding happening? That is the accusation on them. I'm not trying to read between lines. But this is the fact of the matter. There is more to it. I can always keep adding on to it. For example, that particular director, he comes out in the open and says, I'm okay with it. Whatever has been done, and it's been done. And they are kind of okay with it, just because they believe that they have the backing of the entire media and the leftists. All the political parties that have come in support of this particular person, communists, PCK, and DMK, all these people have come in support of this. Why? Because the ecosystem is activated. That is the reason why, Shri, we are opposing this particular movie. And by we, I mean individual people like me in pockets, and PAMAKA, that is PMK as a political party, part of the BJP. Everybody is opposing this. People who know the fact why the story has been tweaked. See, if you tweak a story and write based on real events, the tweak must be just to make it more cinematic. The tweak must be to make it more aesthetic. It must be to make it more entertaining. But none of them has been done here. It has been done deliberately to hide the identity. That is my point.
Thank you so much, Karthik. But I just want to bring to your attention. See, I didn't see the full movie of the previous one where Surya acts in the role of Gopinath Iyengar, like you said, of Air Deccan founder. But somebody told me that there are some deliberate scenes where the central government is shown in poor light. And usually that's basically to try and say that this is Onrium thing. They try to put that thing also in. I don't know if it is true or not. I want you to shed some light in it, because what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a pattern. And by the way, don't get me wrong, viewers. I loved Surya in Perarahan. I loved him in Kaka Kaka. These are iconic movies. The guy is a good actor. I mean, like you said, he had to learn acting, but he can really show you the role that he's playing. Kaka Kaka was a masterpiece in its gory violence, at the same time, what the duty of a police officer is. So, having said all that, now let us look at the new thing. I have a couple of projections, but I'm not going to say that right now. I want your thoughts on what that center state thing. There was something there. I haven't seen the movie, so I'm not trying to explain. I'm not able to portray you the real question. Perhaps you can share some thoughts on that.
I'll tell you what, Shri, how this happens is, see, there is this digital wars that is happening. It is right now being won by DMK. Because they have so many Twitter handles, they have so many YouTube channels that are funded and backed by these people. What they do is, if there is some aspect of the movie where it has been shown that the central government is doing a bad job, for example, reference to GST, for example, reference to petrol price, for example, reference to NEET exam, they will take up that issue because that is a talking point in the political circles. Political circles will try to promote those movies. Political circles will try to help those movies. If you're demeaning Hindus, you will be promoted. If you say a word about any other religion, your movie will not release. For example, Rukta Tandavam and Draupadi had to face so many obstacles. Finally, it came out. Thanks to the right-minded people, it came out. And they're saying all views should be that. I'm the last person to say you shouldn't be criticizing the central government. You should be criticizing all people. There's no doubt about it. But people who do that are being honored. Now you tell me, how many right-wing channels in Tamil Nadu are funded by right-minded people, right-wing people? I won't say one or two. None of them are being funded. No ecosystem to fund that. Nobody wants to take a risk. A few fools like me just walk in and then we do our thing.
No,
And then
add me to that list. Add me to that list. Except
I can't call you a fool, Guruji. What you're doing is tremendous job, sir. Jai Shri Ram. All the best to you. So coming back. So there is a void in the right-wing space for people to start up initiatives for lack of funds and for lack of support and for lack of recognition. But on the other side, this is being done. So any creative person, when given the freedom, will always try to have a jibe. And that is the reason why these people thrive. Now, let me tell you something. When you are called as a champion of social justice, it should start from home, correct? So in the case of Sivakumar, there are a number of videos. I've showed it in my channels, where it clearly shows that he is casteist. You try to portray yourself as a simple, down-to-earth person, but back down in your place, your father, throws off a cell phone because somebody is requesting or somebody is trying to take a selfie without his consent. You can make a movie without somebody's consent, but you can't take a selfie with somebody's consent. Mr. Sivakumar, again, great respect to him for all the good work that he has done. But in long places, we will question you. For example, Mr. Sivakumar in one of his speeches says that he is for marrying within the caste. And where is social justice? Where is progressive thinking? You should probably tell your father first before coming and lecturing people and, under the garb of entertainment, trying to put in your Periyarist thoughts, where again, it is only hypocrisy. People don't follow. See, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you an example for this. This is out and out hypocrisy. This is two-faced. There is an issue here. There is an issue here in Tamil Nadu where a famous minister's daughter had liked somebody and wanted to get married. But they didn't let it happen. You call yourselves champions of social justice and you don't let this happen. In this particular case, I'm for the father. I always believe that the father should be consulted in daughter's wedding. After all, he's done all that for it. But you try and ask everybody to have intercaste marriages, but you protect yourselves. Even till date, most of the Dravidian parties, the appointment is caste-based. In a particular district, the Mavata Sayalalar, which is the district head of the political party, is based on the dominant caste. How many scheduled caste and scheduled tribes do you have as ministers? Apart from the mandatory one, of course, you have to have minorities for the minorities' welfare, and you have to have a scheduled caste minister for the scheduled. How many have you? You talk about making a Dalit the prime minister. I'm for it, but how many have you made in your state? Have you made a Dalit chief minister? So all this talk of social justice is to fool people. And I pity my people because they are being fooled by these people. And it is not for long. It is not for long. Things will change. And there are right-minded young people out there trying to expose the truth, do the needful. And I'm very sure that will take shape, sir. But since I want to answer your question, I was also reminded of the entire thing. So I just added on Sivakumar's episode. But this is the point. There is more recognition, there is more money, and there is more things. And that's why they do it.
Now, let's get back to some basics here. Because you brought up the name of Sivakumar. Viewers, Sivakumar is a well-known character actor. He played lead roles, many iconic movies again. But the breaks that he got in the early part of his career were all movies about God. Kandan Karunai, in which he plays the role of Kartikeya or Muruga, is a classic. I mean, the man got his breaks from portraying roles where he was either a god or something where he was a bhakta or something like that. And then to turn around and start, doing something like this, very regrettable. Also remember that Surya got his early breaks because he was the son of Sivakumar. Because there is a network there. I mean, it's just like the same thing in Bollywood. right? The children of Bollywood actors always have a edge in getting in. After that, they have to prove themselves. That's a different matter. But what I'm trying to say here is, why are you taking these kinds of causes when you know within your own conscience? I mean, I respect Sivakumar for some of the things that he has done, but the problem is he has taken a totally different approach in the recent past. And I don't understand how somebody who's so grounded in values, at least that's what I thought, can change so much. This is just my lament more than anything else, Karthik, because I see a lot of Tamil movie actors and actresses become something that they are not usually. That is what is my lament. Go ahead.
Okay, and also there is also this language politics played apart from caste politics hiding identity. There is a scene. This movie is made in 5 languages. And so somebody pointed out, so I wanted to do that also. There is a movie in this scene where just because somebody speaks in Hindi, he's slapped. And when this is dubbed in Hindi, when the particular person speaks in some other language, he's slapped. It is dubbed in Telugu and he speaks in Hindi, he's slapped. So you're playing language politics using movies. You could simply ask him to talk in Tamil, that's the end of it. What is a slap? What kind of a message are you trying to say? Out here, we are trying to help the kids learn as many languages as possible. Sir, I did not have the opportunity to learn Tamil from school because of the stupid politics of these Dravidian parties. We could not have 3 languages. We only had 2 languages. Okay, and I studied in a Kendriya Vidyalaya, so Hindi was my second language. Sanskrit was my third language. I learned Tamil and I run a channel in Tamil because of the love that I have for Tamil, not because somebody taught me Tamil and I learned Tamil in school. That is not why I started a channel in Tamil, because the love that we have for Tamil, that comes from parenting, grooming, and letting people explore Tamil. You've done nothing for Tamil, but all you have to do is forbade people from learning other languages. This kind of message is so regressive. Let them learn as many languages as possible, sir. A language is a door to a culture. Door to a culture means you understand lots of people, their thoughts, their way of thinking, and it adds a perspective to you. So, doing the same petty 70s ka politics right now in your movies, how do you call yourself progressive? That is another thing. And with respect to Sivakumar, in fact, many people have done the role of Lord Muruga, but none so beautiful like Sivakumar. And despite that support to this, so showing yourself grounded is different from being grounded. Being humble, see, there's a lot more to it which I don't want to get into. But I'm just telling you, there is more to it than what meets the eye in case of this particular entire family. For example, Madam Jyotika, she says that why we go to temples, build more hospitals? Will you talk about dargahs? Will you talk about Velangani temple? I mean, like Velangani church? Why only particular one religion? Why? You don't even belong to that religion. Why do you have to comment about it? Make your self-reformation first. And there are some stupid anchors in Tamil Nadu who say, what is with this Agni Kalasam? How can that represent something? What I'm saying, question others, come question me later. We are majority here. We are not taking this and creating issues. We're just saying, let us have our faith. It is not science. Faith. Faith cannot be questioned. I believe that there is God. I can't go prove it to people. I don't have to prove it to people. I take the blessings of my mother before going to work. It is a belief that I have. I can't prove it that, listen, I took blessings, I scored 100 marks. I can't do that. So idiots who have no understanding of the constitutions are the one running channels here. That's the poor state of affairs, but I am guaranteeing you, Shriji, yada yada hi dharmasya marina, times will change and good times will come.
Absolutely. And I think I can tell you one more thing, Karthik. See, viewers, you have to understand Tamil Nadu politics has been intertwined with movies like umbilical cord kind of stuff. I mean, for the longest time, the party in power, and more so when DMK was in power, used to have a vice-like grip on the movies, the distribution, anything to do with the movie. You had to go prostrate in Gopalapuram, which is where these people live. Or used to live. I mean, I don't know if Stalin still lives in the same house or not, but everybody understands when I say Gopalapuram, that DMK's citadel. Everybody had to go on prostrate. Kamal Hassan ran into trouble. Before that, Shankar, when he made this movie, I think called Mudalvan, he ran into trouble with this. So I can go on and on and on and on. See, the point now, what DMK finds itself in is, in web series, they don't quite have that control. they can't do this thing, and therefore what they are trying to do is somehow, okay, let us also try and use our ideology, our fake narrative, put it through the web series also. I think this first got released in web, right, JBeam?
This is only released in web. I'll tell you what happened with that. See, after it got released in the web series, you can do nothing about it. Okay, the PMK and many one years, the Kshatriyas who I was talking about, they went to some theaters in a remote village somewhere in Chengalpet, I'm not sure which area. They went to that particular theater, which was playing a movie of Surya that was released 10 years back. Because most of them are releasing OTT, so whatever he got, he released it. When these people went there and said, listen, you can't play this movie, he's been offending us. And guess what? The particular theater owner said, okay, sir, I will remove it tomorrow. So if he had released it in public, there will be a lot of outrage. People would have taken to streets because you can't affect the particular religion where there is no connection to the story, where there is no truth to it. You can't subtly put it and just walk away and say it's a small scene. So somebody rightly pointed out, if it is very small, can I change your initial? Can I change your initial? Will you agree to it? They say, no, how can I agree to it? Same thing. Why do you have to do this? Not all related, right? That is the question here. It is released in OTT, and that is why Surya's business is good, is what I'm saying. I don't want to, elaborate on that.
So, there is a certain romance that the Tamil viewers have with their cine stars, particularly heroes who take on this, me versus the system kind of thing. And MGR did that thing. He had a great template, but he had some bounds within which he operated, and that was also appreciated. In fact, the nickname for him was Vadyar. Vadyar means teacher. His stuff was good. And I can tell you, for the movies that came in 60s and 70s, the quality of the music, the direction, and everything had his hand in it. He used to do a really good job. At least for those 2 hours, you forgot all your troubles at home. You enjoyed it. You came home. But now, taking that thing and trying to think that you can again be the next MGR, I think a lot of people have tried and failed. And I think Surya perhaps may not have that ambitions, but I'm ambivalent about it. I think he has some ambitions. I think we'll touch upon this later. Karthik, I don't know if you have any questions today. Let me ask if there are any questions. Can you please put up any questions, or you can just say no questions? I'm telling my editor. Okay, Chetan Pai wants to know, there was another movie, Karnan, which came out in May. How accurate was that?
See, again, this falls in the same trend. Okay, people say for one of the directors who was there, who was supporting him. I think it was I think it was Bharati Raja or Vetri Maran. I'm not sure. Bharati Raja. Bharati Raja. He says that only very few directors are coming out in open and talking about these issues. Now it is a trend here. It is a trend here to take up issues and show, some people who are struggling, which should be done. But in Karnan, I don't remember actually. It's been a long time, and frankly, I slept after half the movie because it was slow dragging, and that's what I personally felt about that movie. And see, I tell you, if you put a scene where a little girl is being stomped on, a elderly woman is being kicked, don't you feel sad about it? Won't you feel sad about it? How can you capitalize on somebody's emotions? But in Karnan, I think it was kind of okay, but I still can't recollect from memory how good the movie was, because I think half the movie I slept and I don't see any phenomenal scenes except some good work by Dhanush. And there's another tall Malayalam actor, I'm not able to recollect his name, a wonderful job. And DOP was really great. But see, if you keep projecting and saying that, listen, such things are happening, there is a divide in the community, the obvious divide will stay. It will not patch up. So at least you have to give a scope saying that, okay, there are bad people in all sides and there are good people in all sides. That is not being done. Okay, that is one thing. Another thing is, so if you look at these directors like Paranjit, Mari Selvaraj, and this particular person, what's his name? Jnanadev. So this is the trend here. So if you follow the trend, you make good business, you do it. Why don't you make movies on Vachati case? Why don't you make movies on Manjolai? Somebody there, I'll come and act for you free. I'm giving you an offer right now. Make movies on that. Make movies on that. You only want to show certain areas in bad light. So that is one issue here. Another important issue is, sir, see, when this is being done blatantly, openly by people, there must be some counter. Very few people are able to come and do that. For example, one guy by the name Mohanji Kshatriyan, he has done a movie called Rudra Tandavam and
Oh,
Draupadi.
I loved it. I saw it. I loved it.
Yeah. So there are not others trying to come up. So there must be people coming out, and this grip, that total grip that people have, this production houses and their political connections have on these movies should be evoked, sir. Only then we will have really good movies. You make real incidents with real depictions where the real people are shown in real place, and then write based on true story. Only cinematic, what is that called? Cinematizing has been done for making it appeal better. Here, there is no appeal that you will get out of it. That is the truth.
Next question from again Chetan Pai. Many Tamil movies, music videos sort of appropriate Dalits as Africans and try appropriate Black Lives Matter in their context. Your view on this?
That is what they do. That is what they try to do. So if there is something that is trending elsewhere, for example, if the Me Too campaign, it's a Black Lives Matter, they want to somehow associate it and do it. This is not the first time they're doing. They're doing it with right from the day proper Ramayana was given as a book. They say we are Ravan. They don't even know that Ravan was a Brahmin. They don't even know that. So anything that the North appreciates, Tamil Nadu wants to be against it. At least part of this political propagate, political agenda-based people in Tamil Nadu want to be against it. Who control the media? This message is being spread out. The real thing is every caste has gone through hell. When there was lawlessness, when there was British times, when there was divide and rule. So you just want to show that it is one person against the others because you can easily encash it as a vote bank. That is what you're doing here. They keep blaming Brahmins here. You know for a fact that I'm not a Brahmin and there's no need for me to go technically defend Brahmins. But you have to defend the people who have to be defended. They did nothing. There are so many intermediate castes. They have done atrocities. And there are hundreds of castes who have done atrocities. Why do you want to portray one particular caste as bad? Is the question here. And there has been reformation from within. Not some bearded guy 60 years back had to come and teach us reformation. It's always been there from Ramanujar's column. You say you consider somebody as a father of reform, so okay, don't make me consider. You take him as your father, that's your wish. So that kind of a push is happening here, and that Periyarists and the gang, they want to use every single opportunity to create a divide here is my accusation, sir.
Dakshinamurthy wants to know, hi Karthik, please touch upon the funding of movies, black money, etc.
See, it's an open secret, sir. Everybody knows that the funding is not proper. That is why when GST was bought in, everybody was up in arms and you can't do that, we can't do that. How can you raise GST and how can you make us live in penury and all that stuff? Thing here is black money funding in movies has been on for ages. After the central government has made some FCRA regulations and all that stuff, now things are trying to fall in place. Okay, and that is why a lot of artists, jumped and started supporting the other side because they don't want GST. They were initially against GST and all that, the way it was implemented and all. So black money funding is a reality. We need to have proper accounts. We need to have proper things. It is being done to a certain extent, but despite that, the kind of salaries these heroes, so-called heroes, have is huge. I'm not sure if they pay taxes. I'm not very sure if everything is out in the open. Although there are measures taken to make it more transparent, until and unless this black money funding is stopped, nothing can be done. And that is why the question here is very important. See, politics has maximum black money. You know that. Okay. So if funding has to be done to news channels are breeding elephants. They can't survive by themselves. It is very difficult to run a news channel. So they need black money. So it is being done by some political party. I don't know. Movies are being funded by some political party. And that's why subtly such measures are being placed, is my accusation. It's my belief.
Next question, please. Vignesh, Karthik, your opinion on how to counter the fake media narrative. Is countering in social media enough? Good question.
See, now saying that the countering in social media enough is, you and I both know that it is not enough. But we need to start somewhere. And I think social media has been a very big blessing for us. So we've been able to share, for example, Sri Guru's PGurus Sri Iyer by Sri Iyer is a platform he started by himself. And he has the best minds across the world coming and interacting with him. That is the power of a single man with a good objective trying to do something. Things will automatically fall in place. That is what we call as dharma. That is the belief that we have. But that is not sufficient, is something we all know. But every individual has to contribute, start making such social media approaches relevant in the right places, support the right people, and they'll grow. And when they grow, they are growing big enough for the system to accommodate. Either they will go into news media or they will start their own news channels, and things will start happening. Why I'm saying this is there is entry level blockades in all the mainstream media which is funded by these people. They will not let a nationalist get into it. They will not let people like me or Shri Ayerji get into their channels. That is a known fact, everybody knows about. So keep supporting the social media, take your own initiatives. There will be a time when social media will be bigger than the mainstream media. Even now, if you can watch certain debates, certain channels get more viewership than the mainstream media channel here in YouTube. You can check that. Those things are happening. Except the viral ones, of course, they have a better reach, so they can promote viral videos bigger. But organically, there is a rise in social media. Eventually, it will challenge the mainstream media, because see, the size of the screen is decreasing. From the bigger screens to the TVs to the mobile phones, and now we have everything virtual reality, I guess, that is taking up. So this will be the future. There is no doubt about it. But at the same time, support all those people, and if they have to step into mainstream media, they will step in the right places.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Karthik. Are there any other questions? I think we are done with the questions. So it was a great conversation and a great way to explain in a very objective manner. No exaggerations here. I completely endorse Karthik's views on this. And why are we saying all these things? The takeaway is Surya is a smart man. Don't get carried into all these things. You have a few more years of productive life as a hero, where you can really bring young minds to see things clear. Follow your dad. I think you guys have gotten messed up in some financial dealings. I hope this success gets you out of it. I'm just connecting the dots here. I hope you act like the person you really are. That's my hope. I don't know if he's going to, do this or not, but certainly, it is possible, because there are more things than just money. Anything to add?
Before take leave, I just want to add. I'm not sure if Surya knows the scheme, or if it is by the director, or if it's by somebody else that he's been doing these things. So if he shuns that and takes the dharmic path and the right path, and the nationalistic approach, there are a lot of people to back him and support him and celebrate him. I think he should sit down, probably do an introspection, and the right questions asked. When 9 pointed questions were asked towards him, he gave a generic reply like the engineering college answer that we write, which has nothing to do with the question that was asked. Instead of
This is the answer I know. This is the answer I know.
This is what I have prepared. You give me marks. And that's the kind of narrative problem he's trying to set. So, having said that, these accusations are part of public life. You know it, Mr. Surya. So, please do the needful. Have some introspections. You might seem winning with the help of the newsstream media and, of course, political backing. But history will record such things. So please be truthful and make the necessary amends, is my humble submission.
Thank you so much, Karthik. And we are going to be back with Karthik in a very near future. We'll keep you posted. Stay tuned. Thank you very much, Karthik.
Thank you so much, sir. Jai Hind, Jai Hind, Jai Hind.
Namaskaram.